Okay, everyone, we're now going to go over to our second run of the day, which is going to be Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. This is the any percent run. I think it's the any percent category, or somewhere around that world, somewhere around that name. And it'll be Smiddy who will be doing this run for us as well. Don't forget, of course, we are doing this as a charity event for Everyone Can as well. So if you would like to donate, then please type !donate in the chat. And I'll bring up the Tiltify page or the Tiltify link for the marathon as well. And all proceeds of Tiltify go directly to Everyone Can as well. There is also an incentive for this run. It is the itemless something or other. Itemless World Crown Showcase, which will happen at the end of the run if we meet the target. So we need £50 to see it. So it's only £45 away to be seen. And don't forget, of course, all the proceeds will also go to Everyone Can as well. So if you select the target for your thingy, for your donation, it doesn't cost anything extra to add a target. It's just that whatever you donate, the total of that essentially gets added to the incentive on the page as well, and then we can see that if it reaches £50 by the end of the run. So be sure to put your donations towards that as well, and it all helps us to go towards Everyone Can too. So, Smitty, it's over to you now. So give us an introduction, give us a countdown for when you want me to start the timer, and then we'll get everything going.
Absolutely.
And if there's any donations during the thing as well, then just let me know if you want me to read them out or something like that.
Okay, excellent. Hi, I am Midi. I speedrun a lot of different games, mainly recently DS, since getting a capture card, but I am also doing Mario right now, and I'm mainly a 3D World one trick in terms of 3D Mario. We're going to be doing any percent today. It's quite a long category. It's actually extending day 2 because it's replaced a different run. So I'll try to get a move on as quick as I can. We're going to start with Toad, and I'll give a countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. So straight away, you might be wondering why we are starting with Toad. So in this run, we have a lot of different things we need to be doing and explaining, and I'm going to start with the character differences. So there are 4 characters unlocked from the start. We have Mario, which we will not be using at all because it is Mario. He's an all-rounder in this game, unfortunately, so there's no reason to use him. We then have, and I'm going to grab a second cat suit just as a backup. We then have Luigi, who can jump really high, which we will come on to in a while. Precisely 2-1. And then we have Peach, who is very slow, but can do the float jump. So we will be using that to our advantage to skip things. And we have Toad, who runs fast. So Toad, a lot of the time, is going to feature in this run, purely because of his massive amount of speed in this game. And there is a difference between Wii U and Switch. I'll get onto in a second. But also, you might have noticed that I'm collecting green stars. Green stars are required for most of the main board runs, apart from the some of the extensions, category extensions. They require you to get to a certain level. Some of them don't need green stars. But in here, we will need 170. So I will be going out of my way a little bit to collect some of those, which is a little different to a lot of Mario games where we're just sort of trying to get to the end, get the single star, and be done. Now, next up, we have this underground level, and again, there's a lot of running, so we're going to be using Toad. Now, the difference between Wii U and Switch, if you're familiar with the Wii U version, you're probably going to notice that this version is way faster. Even if you play casually, this is a way nicer experience, and I'm going to do a mystery box here just to collect this pretty easy star. But yeah, the base speed in this game is a lot higher, and there are also some movement options, which I'll come on to, that we did not have on Wii U. Next up, though, we're going to use this shell, and I will use Gyro just to tap him, and then make sure I kill him as well after, otherwise the shell and the Koopa will cancel out. We're then going to get into the warp pipe and go straight onto 2-1. So, using that warp pipe, you might notice we're skipping all of the rest of the World 1, and that is obviously going to speed up the run, but that is going to mean we're going to need to compensate for the green stars we've missed. So hopefully we'll be able to make up for that in a little while. Now, as I said, coming on to 2-1, we have Luigi for the first time. So I'm going to get here, and you will see pretty soon why we'll be using Luigi. Luigi, as I mentioned, has some pretty high jumps, and one of the easier movement options to increase your speed in this game, or in this version, is vectoring. So I'm going to be nice one there. Normally I land in the sand, so I try and prepare for getting my way out, but luckily we didn't there. So what I'm trying to do is basically with vectoring, jumping at different angles will increase your speed. I'm going to stun this enemy just to break that box quicker, and finish off this one to get a star from Captain Toad. So all of these don't really require us to go out of our way that much, so they're very worth grabbing. Now that stamp is there, that is a relic between Wii U and Switch. I won't be grabbing those because if I do, then we will be getting a around 6-second screen, extra screen at the end of the level, so we'll be avoiding those where possible. So yeah, basically with vectoring, we want to be doing jumping at different angles with each jump, and the more we do that, the more speed we're going to get. There is a more advanced technique, crouch boosting, but I will not be doing that because that's a very high level technique. You have to be fairly frame precise. It's not frame perfect, but it's frame precise, and basically it involves crouching and then instantly jumping after. Some people actually remap their controller buttons, or their controller binds rather, to do the trick a little bit easier. But yeah, I just could not adapt to that very well at all. Being familiar with the game's controls already, I just did not adapt to that well. So coming onto this level, we're just going to do a lot of running again. It is a underground level, so here we're going to go in this section. It is possible to skip this section if you do a massive jump all the way across that gap. And it's actually kind of helpful. It's kind of like, this run's kind of like doing a PowerPoint presentation for comms, because I can just use the cursor in this version to point to where I'm talking about. Makes it so much easier. Anyway, so we have the final star here, break the Bowser statue and grab another Captain Toad star. Yes, unfortunately, so I am seeing that I did get fireworks. Yes, I got a 3 on the end of the timer on 2-1, and I'm actually going to wait here so I don't get a 6 on the end of the timer. So if you get a 1, 3, or a 6 on the end of the timer, that will mean you get fireworks, and that costs a few seconds each time you do that. So if you see me pause and then get on a flagpole, that's why. So doing okay so far, we're going to move on. That Bowser statue level is a fork in the road. We don't play that one. But we might be seeing some Bowser statues later. Next up, if we were doing 380 stars, which requires every star and basically every stamp and golden flagpole in the game, which is top of the flagpole, we would be using Mario here because of the stamp on the right-hand side there that requires you to use Mario to hit it. So the only reason we use Mario here is because we are required to by the game. Other than that, we are just going to go straight through. It's possible to do a Odyssey dive straight onto that pipe. That's why I just go for that. So sometimes you get straight in, sometimes you won't. Now here I'm going to use gyro. It would have been possible on Wii U to use touch controls, which is what gyro originally was. But here it's made a little bit easier because we are allowed to use a button to activate the gyro essentially. So I'm going to grab a ball and grab the star using the ball rather than actually having to go up there physically. We're then going to go down here, grab the star, hit the blocks because why not? Maybe we need the extra lives. And then finish off the level. We are comfortable for fireworks, so that's fine. And again, I did mention gold flagpoles. So in this run, we don't need them because the only reason to do that is to unlock World Crown. And if we meet the incentive later, I'll be using an existing file, so that doesn't matter. That would take around 4.5 hours, or I don't know, maybe more like 4 if we were doing 380 stars, so we won't be doing that. But we're moving on here. We are going to be... oh, I should mention the flagpoles more. I'm just going to casually move on from that. So, getting... it's one of the few Mario games where getting near the bottom of the flagpole is worth it because the flag will only rise that much. And that's pretty much it. Sometimes it's worth getting gold flagpoles though. Anyway, this is a mystery house. This is optional, but I'm going to be tapping those Galoombas there to make sure they only have 1 HP rather than 2. Normally you have to knock them over and then kill them. And then here, if we needed it, there's another cat suit. Very nice section there. I normally fail that. And here we get T-posing Fire Bro. And that's the end of the level. So that's optional. However, The 5 stars are really quick there, so we might as well give that a go. And it allows us to skip a lot more slower stars later in the run. So we will be seeing every optional Mystery House and Captain Toad level in this run. Next up is a required mini-boss. This is the Big Galoomba mini-boss. Here, again, similar to the small ones, we're just going to hold them still, and we can just run into them and swipe them. There we go. Going to grab the star. Unfortunately, missed it. Now, you might be noticing I'm using gyro every time I grab a star. Reason for that is because if I am holding a star, then with the gyro cursor, as long as the hand is touching the star, we're able to grab it a little bit faster. Only about a second or even less faster. But we do that so many times in the run that it adds up a bunch of time. Here, we're going to be using the new power-up of this game, or one of the many new power-ups, is the Double Cherry. Now, the game wants you to have 4 characters on the final lift. Can we stop? Can we get in the clear pipe, please? Thank you. Yeah, so the game wants us to have 4. However, we only actually need 2 characters. So I'm only going to have these 2, and then I'm going to instantly discard one right here. So I'm going to try my best to make it so one dies there. It wasn't the fastest, but basically, if you fall in the pit rather than die from being too far behind, or dying to an enemy, it saves the game freezing for 0.4 seconds, which is an intended feature. It's kind of like when you collect a power-up. So there, similar to the Wii U version, we're literally able to just climb up and grab that star. And that's a Wii U Switch difference. On Switch, we're able to climb a lot higher with every character, whereas on Wii U, we would have had to re-grab the wall to make sure we get that star. So coming up, we have a auto-scroller. We love auto-scrollers. So this one, we're not going to be doing very much apart from trying to skip the camera near the end, and that is a common theme in a lot of these auto-scrollers. Once you reach the camera trigger, you will move on the level a little bit, and that's the only way to save time, really. So the only important thing to bear in mind here is that we need to keep the cannon box, otherwise we cannot grab the final star. I will be avoiding that fire flower because there's no reason to grab that. So we need the cannon box, otherwise we'll have to grab a backup. Good news is there are lots of places where I can grab a backup in this run. It's just they'll be a few seconds slower than this one. So it's a great time if there are any messages for the run, talking about incentives, to jump in here for about a minute or so.
Yeah, so we don't have any new donations yet, I don't think. Let me just double... No, we haven't had any new donations in, but if anyone does want to donate, then please do so by !donate in the chat. We'll bring up the link to the Tiltify page. But there is an incentive, of course, for the itemless show... Well, itemless world. I keep messing up the name of this.
World Crown Itemless Asterisk.
That's the one, yes. Itemless World Crown Showcase is the incentive. It's at £5 total so far. It needs £50 to see it. So it's only £45 away. We're not that far away. And don't forget, of course, all the proceeds go to EveryoneCan as well. So if you want to see that incentive, then be sure to donate towards that incentive as well. Just select it when you make your donation. It doesn't cost any extra. It's just that basically however much you donate, it gets added to the total, and then obviously the proceeds then go to EveryoneCan. If you live in the UK as well, you can also gift aid your donation. Essentially what that does is it essentially gives, I think it's something like 25% extra donation to the charity. I'm not entirely sure how it works. I think it works through like income tax or something. I'm not entirely familiar with how it all works, but essentially the charity gets more money, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. It just comes out of your income tax or something like that. Again, I don't know exactly how it works, but it's more complicated. It's quite complicated. But you can just use that if you want to. If you understand it better than I do, then be sure to use that option as well. I probably shouldn't have mentioned that. Well, it's a good thing to mention because obviously charities get more money.
It's absolutely a good thing to mention. I mean, I should be more familiar with it with my day-to-day, but yeah, I think it's based on like UK taxpayers and stuff, so... Yeah,
I mean, I am a UK taxpayer, so I should understand it as well. But yeah, anyway, so don't forget to put your donations towards that incentive as well. Gift aid donations do not show up on the live tracker though, so if you do add gift aid, It doesn't actually add it to the tracker on the stream, but the charity will still get more money, essentially. So yeah, that's how that works. But yeah, so don't forget to put your donations towards the Itemless World Crown Showcase incentive as well. Again, it's only £45 away, and all the proceeds go to EveryoneCan.
So that level was a little bit scary. If you were watching my facial expressions during that was probably quite a ride. I almost lost cannon twice. One by by accidentally hitting one of the fire piranha plant's fireballs with the gyro controller. I was not very far away from the fireball, and then another time I accidentally almost hit a cannonball into myself, which is the main way of losing cannon. But we will move on because we're totally fine. Anyway, so here unfortunately didn't manage to grab the star using the snowball, but it is possible. And then here we're going to charge a bunch of speed. That is recycled from Wii U. They did not manage to patch it. You just want to be mashing crouch when you're on on ice, and you will charge up a bunch of speed. And then there we can just grab the star using the snowball. Very, very quick level here. Very clean, I would say. And we're going to wait a little bit just to make sure we don't get fireworks. Yeah, we can always back up stars if we really needed to, so that's fine. And this route does have quite a lot of backups, purely because of a routing difference in World 4 compared to Wii U. I'll probably mention Wii U and Switch quite a lot because there's tons of different things that they changed, including patching an out-of-bounds skip in its original form that we can't. We can do now, but it's a little bit more complicated, so we won't be doing it here because it's banned in this category. So here we're going to use Toad. Some people do use Luigi, and this is what makes this run so interesting. You're going to have a really hard time finding two different runners that use the exact same characters in an any % run because of the fact that some levels, people are going to be more comfortable with certain characters and things like that. But here we're using Toad because saving time with Luigi is difficult. Anyway, here we're going to be jumping off of the fourth bookshelf, or the actual second set of bookshelves, because they're in twos. So by doing that, we're able to grab the star, the one with the star correctly straight away, rather than jumping on the two double bookshelves above that one. Saves a few seconds if we can hit that, so very nice. Yeah, really easy to learn that trick, actually. I don't know why I didn't learn that for so long. I only learned that in the past couple of months. I used to struggle with it, and now I just learned that all you need to do is climb onto the wall where that the line between that fourth bookshelf is, and just jump off. Sorry, not jump off. Let go of the wall using the trigger buttons, and then cat dive the other way, and then you just get it for free. Shouts to Nintensive for his tutorial on that, because that helped me a bunch. Yeah, so yeah, Nintensive's tutorial was really, really good for that. So that is the level. Again, I struggle really quite a lot to save time with Luigi there, because although there is space to do vectoring, there's really not that much, and also it's more likely that you could do stuff like crouch boosting to save just a couple of seconds if you're good there. Next up is a Captain Toad level. So we're going to be introduced to these. If you're familiar with the actual Captain Toad game, really, really good game. There are people that speedrun that too. Fantastic speed game. But here, the levels in this game are pretty linear. And also, there is a feature that was included in this game, but is not used in any level. So you can press A, like in the actual Captain Toad game, to do things like grab blocks in the ground, because Captain Toad can't jump, as one of the text boxes said. You can grab stuff that's in the ground using A. However, there is nothing to grab in all all 6 of the Captain Toad levels in this game. I clearly know this game. I can count. So anyway, here, unfortunately, if we fall down, we have to basically do the entire rest of the level again. Also, if you die, you will have to pick up all the stars again, but because it's so linear, it's not really too much of an issue. So here, just going to finish that off, and the only thing I can really do in a one-player run is to cut the plank off there, a little bit of the plank. So Interesting to note that in multiple controllers runs, especially categories like 380 star right now, what you can do is use 2 players, and the second one will be at the spawn point, and the other one will be in the corner in the water. If you bubble with the one from the spawn point, and we're just going to walk there because water pipes in the world map are slow. If you use the controller to bubble by pressing N and R at the same time, you will then be able to unbubble before you've reached the other character and skip. You can do 2 skips, one to get onto the grass and one to get onto the plank. And it saves loads of time, more than you would expect in a Captain Toad level, something like 30 seconds. So yeah, it's a really, really important one to learn if you're doing a category where it's allowed. So here, we're only going to be grabbing 2 stars. This is going to be happening quite a lot now. We're only going to be grabbing 2 of the stars rather than all 3, because that one there has a warp cloud, and if we get into that warp cloud, we have to do a running section, basically a bonus area, which is going to be really slow. We're not going to do that. There are plenty of other stars we can get that are not nearly as much of a detour. So here is another mini boss. There's a mini boss now in every area. I don't know why I just forgot to sprint at the start. Oh well, we'll just freeze this Magic Cooper and be done there. So next up is a water level. Water levels are pretty slow, so that's okay. We will be taking our time here, and there are some things we can do to speed it up a little bit. But for the most part, it's a Mario game with a water level. What can I say? It's bound to be fairly slow. So yeah, if we have time for donations again, good time probably is for this level.
Yeah, well, I put a £20 donation in because I might as well donate to my own event, you know, come on. But I did put that obviously towards the Itemless World Crown Showcase, so it's only £25 away now, thanks to me.
Fantastic.
So if anybody wants to donate the rest of the £25 to see that, then be sure to do so. And obviously, all the proceeds go to EveryoneCan as well. So be sure to get those donations in, everyone, because we do have a pretty large goal to reach. I would like to see £750 at the end of the event, so be sure to get those donations in as well, because they all goes to a fantastic cause. It all goes to EveryoneCan as well.
So here, you might have noticed we are able to navigate this level a little quicker than you might expect. We're using deep dives, so you can do a normal dive or you can do a deep dive, but as long as you're in the water, and also over there is a star that we've skipped. Oh, that's fine, that's okay. That's a really silly place to take damage. That's okay. We got 1 cat suit for the upcoming skips. But either way, if we struggle a little bit, there are cat suits coming up in... Come on. There are cat suits coming up in World 4, so that's okay. So in order to get that 2nd star, we need to go above that area. I'm going to wait for fireworks. We have to go above that area in the water, which has a cannon box. Then we have to fall where that crack in the wall was to go into a bonus gold room, which has a bunch of coins and a star, which all sounds very slow, and it is. So we will be skipping that one. Stars like that might have featured in Wii U because we did less levels on Wii U, because of, again, routing in World 4, which we're going to get onto when we get there. This is a fairly difficult level, so unfortunately, taking damage in Silly Place 3-5 is not going to help me, but I'm going to use Gyro here to override where my character is standing, so that is very nice to be able to do. Now here, I'm just going to try and hit this switch on the way past. That's fine, we can just do that instead. You know what, that's okay. And I'm stuck under the switch. Come on, there we go. That's fine. So there are 2 things I'm going to try to do here to speed this up. Another star we're skipping there, that is an extra area. Where we have to fall quite some distance to grab that. Here, I'm going to try and do this jump and go on there. Nicely done, that's the first one complete. Grab this star and then instantly use Gyro to hit the right side of the switch. As long as I'm holding the white part of the panel, it won't get blocked by the wall. The Gyro controls, that is. And then here, I can just grab this star, missing it, so we can just re-grab the wall. That's okay. And we can just make sure we're falling into the right place instead of dying. That would not be very good. And fall quite low on the flagpole to finish that star. So next up is 3-Castle. This is another Peach level, and you know when it's a Peach level, we are in it for a bit of a ride. We're going to be trying to use train jumps to our advantage. So this is the only level where this will apply. Basically, I'm going to try to jump across using Peach, and because I only have one cat suit, I think what I'm going to do is grab Tanuki. I've not done Tanuki as much as Cat recently, but we'll give it a go. I've only recently relearned this because it's a little bit difficult to adjust to, but what we're going to do, grab this star, we're going to then get here as quick as possible to skip the camera a bunch, and basically that's the concept of this skip. Skipping the camera a bunch using jumps from the far right side of the screen. I don't really want to be holding angles too much during these jumps because that will, yeah, it will do that. That's okay. So I will just not do it. That's fine. We should be plenty on track for the requirements of this run. That's okay. So here, I've already grabbed that star. That's a Wii U difference. Actually, quite nice to be able to explain that now. What we can do is, if you die, you will keep your stars, whereas on Wii U, you wouldn't be able to. Yeah, so it doesn't save too much time. It would save probably upwards of, I don't know, 5 or so seconds if you do a decent train jump each time. Besides just failing it. It probably is a little bit less than that. I've not really timed it. There is a Mega Mushroom in this hidden block, but we won't be grabbing that. That will override my Tanuki. Here, I'm just going to hold the bullet bills still, and that will allow us to just get here pretty fast. That's fine. And then on the next one, we're going to get in this pipe, and then I'm just going to be mashing R to hit that box as soon as I can. And then we're going to grab this star. Then we're going to go into the boss room. Last step of the run. Yeah, I'm not too sure if that's going to be last step of the run. If that's the last step of the run, this is 100% going to be my first sub 140. And I should mention the significance of that. A lot of people go for sub 140 because it's quite a nice goal in this game. Now here, that's okay. It's only Tanuki. We are trying to do the rolling long jump at the beginning, or the equivalent with Tanuki, to get a free hit at the beginning, which I did. And then what we're able to do is there is a particle effect that you can look out for to find the exact correct pom-pom. However, I'm not that good at it, so I only got one of those two. On Wii U, on cycles 2 and 3, the smoke trail would actually be lower for the correct one. But that doesn't exist in this game. Anyway, you might have noticed I did not change back to Cat. While it might have helped me a little bit, it would also mean that I don't grab the flagpole straight away. And that is a difference between using Cat Suit or using any other power-up in this game. If you're using the Cat, then you will have to wait for your stamina to run out unless you grabbed gold flagpole, which you will just grab the flagpole instantly. But again, gold flagpole is not normally quicker. Here we have a mini boss. We're not done with World 3 yet. We have to do this. Now, this is fairly simple. It's Histocrat. And I'm going to change back to my cat suit. If I really needed one, there is another question mark block on the right-hand side. But we already have one, and there are cat suits coming up in 4-1, so that's okay. Now, there are a couple of ways of doing this, including without cat. You can do it in pretty much the exact same way without cat, but I like using cat. So here, we want to do a ground pound and then instantly jump on the boss. Now, on the first cycle, he's going to turn around and try and look at you. So if you do it wrong or a bit slow, then you could get hit, but it's okay. So you can either do a spin jump and do the rolling, or like the Odyssey dive thing. That was really early. I'm surprised I didn't get hit. That's another way of getting hit if you do it too early. So yeah, by doing the new movement, which was ported somewhat from Mario Odyssey, you can then just jump straight on the boss. Now that was possible on Wii U even without that movement. And here, yep, that's fine. Not getting fireworks. So that is the world complete. And then we're going to move on to 4-1. This is another Peach level. And it's possible to use other characters for this. But I'm going to be using Peach because it makes the damage boost section a little easier. Hopefully I can do this a little better than yesterday. I did do a practice run yesterday, which did PB, and I ended up doing probably... I don't think I've ever done movement anywhere near what I did yesterday. I don't know what came into my head that I wouldn't be able to do the backup, but it just did, and somehow it worked out. I kept one catsuit. It was a bit slow, but somehow it paid off. Obviously not compared to actually doing it properly, but yeah, it's fine. Anyway, here, I don't want to take damage to these ants, so I will just wait. Here, there are catsuits in this level, so I will be grabbing them where possible, and I'm just going to use a bunch of these through here. Hit the wall, that's okay. Grab this star and then instantly turn back round to go down here. We're going to grab the checkpoint because why not? It doesn't really go out of our way to do that. And we're going to get in this pipe just to get a fairly quick green star. There we go, and then just dive down into the pipe. Very nice. Now here, I'm going to be paying attention because I need to make sure I don't fail this. And I got the... Okay. You know what? I'm going to wait just to get more iframes. That was actually more intelligent than yesterday. See, good thing we're learning backups the day before, because yesterday was a mess. So waiting for iframes there is definitely going to help me. I actually thought of that strat 5 seconds before that happened. So yeah, that will do. But basically what I'm supposed to do is grab the star and then climb up the top route to skip jumping on the big ant. And it will save about 20 seconds. Obviously, that one didn't save 20 seconds, but it did not cost me 2 catsuits, so that's a win. That's totally fine. But what happened, essentially, I did do an X input, which would have normally kept me in the air without falling down. Unfortunately, there's a thing in this game where if you've instantly grabbed a star right before, there's a chance, if you've done it at pretty much the exact wrong frame, your input will not go through. So that is what happened there, and unfortunately, that's what cost me only a few seconds, but we've still done it, so that's fine. Coming onto this level, oh no, that's okay. So we now have no catsuit, but that's okay. There is a roulette block on this level, so we'll try our best to make sure we time that correctly. That's definitely one way of killing the piranha creeper. Alright, we're going to go down the bottom route here, grab this extra star, again, not too much out of our way, and we're then going to go top route. So then I'm going to pay attention, make sure I don't get stamped here, if I can, and then I'm going to pay attention so I time this correctly. Very nice. So, unfortunately now I still only have 1 catsuit for the upcoming skips, but we'll manage, it's okay. Next up, I need to try my best to survive this section, and I would have taken that a little bit slower because I do want to keep hold of my catsuit. Yeah, I am an XA user, unfortunately, yeah. Okay, I wasn't worried about fireworks there because I just do not want to take damage to that piranha creeper. Whenever you do that claw, it kind of extends your hitbox a little bit. Sorry, your hurt box, I guess. Fighting game sort of terminology, whatever. So, yeah, making sure I don't get hit there, that's fine. We do need catsuit for an upcoming skip. Yeah, 242 strats. So I should mention 242 because it would be an injustice if I didn't shout out 242 stars. So itemless 242 stars means you're grabbing every possible star before post-game. So the extra worlds like World Mushroom, World Flower, World Crown. Sorry, World Star, World Mushroom, World Flat, or World Crown. You will not be doing those levels because there is a single star you can't do in... okay, that was not great, but that's fine. There's a single star you can't do itemless, and that involves a fire flower because you have to light up the candles. So instead of 243 stars, which is all stars, no post-game, you skip 1 star and you do it all itemless. It's a very interesting category. Little bit of an extension of 243, which sounds backwards. You're doing 1 less star and it takes a bunch more time. But I think it's a really cool category. It's really not a very popular category. It's on the category extensions, but it's really, really cool. Next up's 4-4. I'm going to use Peach here, and again, Peach, we're in for a wild ride. So I'm going to try my best to do this section okay. This one's fine based on how I do it. I just want to be here, ground pound again, so I get a big jump. That's just the way I do it. It's not really that optimal, but it's fairly safe. And I can then get onto here, then do... Oh, that was very close. I did that slightly differently than normal. I almost died doing that. If I really wanted to, I could reload the save file. You know what? That's fine. I could reload the save file to recover my power-ups, but normally I won't be doing that if I can. Unless I really want to show off the skip for the marathon, in which case it'll probably be worth it. So here, I'm going to try my best to skip this trampoline. I was so scared there. Okay, so I was aiming for that blue enemy there, the Biddy Bud. However, I was going slightly left by accident because it locked to the wrong direction. And then I somehow still made it to the blue one. Don't ask how. I did it. I failed that yesterday once, so that's a relief. I'm probably a bit ahead now. So, yeah, good to get that. But that skips using the trampoline. Had you have been doing a run where you need the stamp, you do have to use the trampoline because you need to grab the stamp that's in the 2 circles of enemies. Next up is a very interesting level, 4-Mystery House, and it's not the level that's interesting, but it gives me plenty of enough time to explain what this would have been on Wii U. So Wii U would have been a 4-1 and then 4-2 into the warp pipe, similar to what we did on 1-2, to get straight to World 5. However, you might have noticed here, I've played some extra levels. After this level, I'm going to go back to 4-2, grab 0 stars, because we've already grabbed them all, and I'm going to warp to World 5. Reason for that is because the Out of Bounds World 8 skip, in its original form on Wii U, does not exist. So you're able to do it with 3 controllers on the world map. It is jank, but it's possible. So if you've not seen it, definitely go and watch runs of that, because there is now, as of not that long ago, a miscellaneous category where you are allowed to use multiple controllers, and that is the exact reason you're allowed to, because it completely changes the any percent route. But on Wii U, what we'd be able to do is we would be going into World 8, and then on the world map, you would climb on the clear pipe at the beginning, literally fall on the world map into World 7, or sorry, past World 7, on the left side, into World 4, onto this island. And if you fall onto this island, you can then play this level, because the mystery houses and the Captain Toad levels do not have to be unlocked, so you can just play it. I'm going to warp again here because it's faster. But yeah, so on Wii U, we basically play less levels, and that would mean there are more stars we need to grab that are missed out in this specific route on Switch. Because we would be skipping levels like 4-A, we would be skipping 4-4, so we've already skipped 4 stars there. But here we will be using the warp pipe. Apparently it's faster than doing the remaining 2 levels of World 4. Okay, barely missed that Piranha Creeper, but that's very good. Oh, almost grabbing that stamp. Very nice, we didn't. Nice, so we're back up to 2 catsuits. Very good. So when you land, as long as you tap R to use the gyro, you will be able to grab that star pretty easily. Going into 4-2, warp pipe, and then we're done. Yeah, there's always loads of different names for enemies. I mean, if you grew up with, like, for me, one of my first games, if not my first ever game, was New Super Mario Bros. DS. So, I don't know, there's not really anything in the game to tell you what enemies are called, so you just call them whatever. Like, I don't know, like with Goombas, I think I called them, like, Muppets or something, I don't know. But, yeah, anyway, you just go with whatever. Now we've got the Mario Wiki. Now we're just spoiled. So anyway, we're coming on to 5-Captain Toad, and I'm going to hold the controller a little bit weird, just to make sure I can do all 3 things at once, which is holding dash, which for me is X. Then I'm also holding my thumb on the right stick, so I can move the camera. Very important for a Captain Toad level. And I'm also pressing R with my middle finger, so I can actually tap these platforms. I'm not going to tap this platform again, because I'm going to try to skip across. Nice. If you move it and then try to do the skip, you will probably fail it. But if you don't move it at all after that first tap from way back at the beginning, you should be fine. Now, we have a little bit of strange routing going on. this is another difference between Wii U and Switch. There is, after this level, we're going to have, we've entered this world with 69 stars. We're then going to have 74 after this. This is important. We're then going to go down, bear with me, to the bottom of the world. Looks very slow. It is. This is slightly different to what we would have done on Wii U, and I'll explain that in a minute. We're going to use this warp pipe, use another warp pipe, and we're going to go back to World 1. Now, if you noticed, if you were very eagle-eyed at the beginning, you will notice that this level was already unlocked. This is the only level on the right side of World 1 that we have unlocked, because again, Captain Toad levels are unlocked. Unfortunately, because we didn't play the rest of World 1, we couldn't play this earlier. But the good news is the warp pipe allows us to play it now for the 5 quick green stars. And they are clearly very quick if we are going all the way back, doing a massive detour to do these 5 stars. Now I'm going to try my best to make this cycle. I think I might have missed it. Barely made it. That was frames with it. Frames between it there, but that's okay. Here as well, doing a little bit of continuing the weird routing by missing out the first stars. Although the levels are linear, it doesn't mean that the cycles are always the best when we do them in order. So they're actually skipping those first couple. Little bit of a difference between Wii U and Switch again. There used to be microphone controlled platforms where if you blow on the microphone, you would zip up really quickly. We're just going to warp again because we've already been in World 5, so we can just warp. There were platforms that you could zip on really quickly. Select the character, thank you. But unfortunately, there is no microphone on the Switch, so they just changed them all to yellow lifts. Next here, though, we will be grabbing the keys because we need to unlock the box in a little while. I have killed one of the... Okay, that's fine. We'll just use the shell here. There's only 2 remaining, so I can just throw it in there. That's okay. And then here, I'm going to make sure all of those charging chucks are out of the way so I can then easily grab the key in a little while. And that star, by the way, for killing all of those biddy buds, really difficult if you're doing it itemless. I practice that a ridiculous amount if I'm doing itemless stuff, because it's just really annoying to do when you've not got a power-up, especially Catsuit. Catsuit makes it so easy to just swipe them all. Because basically, I think the game intends for you to keep chaining jumps between them, but you can't actually do a chained jump between all 8 of them. It doesn't really work because it's a 3D game and they're all in a circle. Anyway, this is the only appearance of Plessy in the run. We're going to be able to skip all the rest of the Plessy levels. Plessy does appear quite a lot actually in the game, but we don't really need to use her. Now, Plessy's pretty much unchanged in this game. So, having the massive speed boost compared to not much of a change with Plessy, we are naturally going to try to miss Plessy out. Although, I used to do 8-2, which is a fork in the road later, which I now do 8-3 for instead. Oh, getting fireworks, that's a shame. I realised I'm a bit too late there. So, yeah, able to finish off the level and only grabbing 2 stars there because the other one is a rainbow panel star, pretty slow. But if you are able to do ridiculous crouch boosting, you're able to skip grabbing the keys there, and you're able to skip all the way onto that island with the checkpoint I was just on before Plessy. Anyway, I was mentioning the number of stars I'm on. I'm now on 81 stars, so I'm going to activate this Bowser statue, which again takes more time, and then I'm going to play this level. Now, if you're familiar with Mario Maker, you might be familiar with one-screen levels. This is 3D World's equivalent of a one-screen level. There is literally just this going on. There's more clone double cherry platforms, but again, they're even shorter now to skip, so we can just jump over them. And there, making sure I don't get hit, getting a very, very quick finish there. It's possible to get something like 13 or even less IGT if you're fast. So that skips doing the circus level, which is 5-2, which is normally like at least a minute longer than that. So pretty nice, and also allows us to do 3 pretty quick stars, whereas if we were doing 5-2, there is a star that's fairly slow. So very much worth us going out of our way for that. On Wii U, we would have had more stars at that point, so we wouldn't have had to do 1-Captain Toad that early. We still would have done it, but not that early. And then we would have been able to play the level. Here, we can hit them all at once. For some reason, I've failed it because I did it a bit too early, apparently. And we're able to kill all of the charging chucks at once. Then next up, we have a catsuit level again. We are already on 2 catsuits, I believe. So we should be fine, but one of them is very easy to grab. You don't have to go out of your way at all. And to be fair, it is 6:30 in North American time, so yeah, maybe that's why. Otherwise, we'd be having Plessy in the chat right now. But anyway, we're coming on to this level. Apparently, I didn't have a catsuit, so I'm just grabbing that one fairly easily. Grab this star, and then here I'm just gonna wait. Some people do this slightly differently. In fact, most people climb on the clear pipes and then just climb above because it's slightly faster. There, I like to just do it like that because as long as you've not moved above where that gap in the wall is, where that star is, you're able to essentially not spawn in the last fuzzies. Gonna use gyro here again. You're able to not spawn in those last fuzzies until you reach the clear pipe. So as long as you mash A, you won't get hit. So it makes it quite a lot easier. This one, unfortunately, because of that cannon, the fuzzies have already spawned in, so I'm going to wait a little bit. And this level is really, really nice if you're trying to practice your movement. It's a massive open area. You can do vectoring, you can do crouch boosting, whatever your desired method is. And here we're going to use gyro to grab these green coins. Do not get hit. Thank you. Thank you. There we go. And we're done. So actually, yeah, that is a good thing to mention. I'm not doing Bowser's Fury, but Bowser's Fury Plessy features very prominently. Plessy's got a lot of really nice movement in Bowser's Fury, which sort of was kind of a successor to Odyssey almost. It was kind of trying to be more open world than 3D World is, because this is a lot more of a 2D style linear 3D game, although it's obviously not 2D for the most part. Here, we're going to be introduced, though, to flip panels. These are from Mario Galaxy, and I'm getting hit. So that's not too bad. We have one level I'm going to have to play with one catsuit. You know what? I'm going to... Actually, yeah, I'm going to grab catsuit now. That's fine. Now I'm past there. Right, just don't get hit here, please, because I want to be able to do the skips on 5-7. There we go. I always got a little bit quiet when I'm brushing around one catsuit. I should mention, this game, on the Switch version, it's quite nice if you're doing itemless. Itemless did exist a little bit on Wii U, but it was mainly a bit of a meme using Mario for every level and also no power-ups. In this game, though, because of stuff like vectoring and also crouch boosting, you're able to do that stuff without catsuit. It's just that with cat, you can do things like freeze in the air and lots of different stuff that extend that movement. So itemless is really nice to practice if you're going to be doing how did that work. I got on the front side and then somehow climbed up the left. Whatever. I'm alive, so it's okay. Right, so let's just carry on. Right, so here... we're going to be trying to take this at a bit of an angle. Did not manage to do it perfectly, but basically, if you do a slightly longer turn, you're able to preserve your momentum. Just making sure I don't get hit there. You're able to preserve your momentum going through that corner where the checkpoint is. There, we just pet the bullet bill, because why not? And here, I want to grab this trampoline enemy so that I can do a little bit of movement here. Now, I'm going to climb up here, press X immediately to make sure I get in that hole. If you do not press X or Y, you will not get in there, and you will just fall back down again. And if you fail it again, because you can only re-grab once, essentially you can only climb twice, and the re-grab, you have a lot less stamina. Once you reach that point, you will then just start falling, so you won't be able to grab the star on that attempt. And the trampoline makes it a lot easier. Skip's doing all the stairs. Stairs are slow. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff with Tanuki in this game as well. I choose to not use Tanuki most of the time, but people are labbing out Tanuki suit to actually be faster than Cat in some places if you're really, really high level. Now here, just making sure I take that a little slow and grab this Cat suit first. There are 2 in this level. There are 2 in most levels, actually, but I'm just going to make sure I have them both. Not even just for marathon safety, I would always be grabbing those extra Cat suits. And then into the warp box. That's okay, that's fine. Grab this on the way past. I'm still able to do this fairly quickly. Yep, really nice. So essentially on that first cycle, you're able to grab the star straight away, get past that box there, nice. You're able to grab that star straight away. There are 2 cage boxes on that cycle. One of them has the star, one of them does not have the star. If you miss the one with the star, you will then have to wait till it respawns. Do not go that way. You'll have to wait till it respawns. So we're able to just manipulate that there and make sure we can just go straight through. Normally I'm not actually grabbing that backup catsuit, but I thought why not? I would rather grab that and risk not making the first cycle. If you're doing 380 star, you would need the stamp, which is in the wall in that section, and you probably will miss that cycle because it's really... I'm fairly sure it's impossible to make, actually, as far as I'm aware. So again, missing the timer, it only saves a few frames, but I've been doing that sort of out of instinct anyway. I'm going to wait for fireworks because I was a bit slow. The jump just didn't go through for whatever reason. And that is the end of the level. Coming on to World 6, very long world, and there are a couple more catsuit levels. But once we've expended them here, we will be coming on to Gauntlet, which is what I dub World 7 and mid-World 8. Because the only place from after near the end of World 6 to grab a catsuit is 7-5, where there is 1 catsuit. It's pretty difficult, but hopefully we can at least preserve the catsuits here. The main reason I want to preserve them is just to show off as many skips as I can. So here we're going to be trying to skip using the clear pipes. It's literally just called clear pipe strats. And the first one I will get in because I need to grab this star, make sure I can get in to grab this one. You actually need to grab the star there. You can't take damage because if you take damage on a spike ball, you will just be rebounded back. So here I'm going to run round fairly safely, and the good thing about that is we can keep momentum going, whereas if I use the warp box there to get to that other island, that will be a little bit slower. I don't save much time doing that, if any, but the more comfortable I get with it, if I start doing some jumping and vectoring on the clear pipes, which is risky, I could then preserve more speed. But in the Wii U version, for some reason, you kept momentum through warp boxes and surprise boxes, which are the purple ones. For some reason, it's not a thing in this game, so you can just chill whenever you're navigating through those boxes, because there's no reason to keep your momentum through them. Now here, I'm trying my best to go around the clear pipes. I'm going to just let go there and climb on the side of the clear pipe, which is possible. And there we go, done. Only 2 stars there because it's another cloud bonus level, which we don't really want to be doing. And coming up, we have another level where we're going to be skipping some stars, except this one is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, detour star in the entire game. It is 6-2. By skipping star 2, we're going to skip the entirety of the inside of the shipwreck, which sounds pretty fast. So I'm just going to go through here, do some jumps around, and unfortunately losing my speed there, that's okay. Here we're going to need to kill both of these bullies to grab this star. Luckily I can just run straight into them, or roll straight into them, and kill them there. Unfortunately, some of the time you will end up, and here's the skip, literally just jumping across. Yeah, unfortunately, if you end up holding the enemy there, as with any enemy in this game, you will end up getting a little effect where they sort of shake a little bit, and they have like these orange lines coming out of them. Now, if that happens, instead of actually tapping them to move them, or whatever that interaction with that enemy is, you will end up freezing them. And you can only actually hit the enemy once that freezing effect has worn off. And the way you tap them is you have to tap R when your cursor is on the enemy. Whereas if you drag the cursor over to the enemy, you will end up freezing them. We don't really want to freeze them, that's a bit slow. Okay, so here, this is pretty important, and for important stuff, we use Peach. So what we're going to be doing is trying to make an early cycle. This will be pretty interesting whether I make this. Now, I use Peach. It is possible to do this with Toad, and the benefit of doing it with Toad is that you can literally just finish the end part of the level with the flagpole about, I don't know, 1 or 2 in-game seconds faster, which is only about, I don't know, 1.2 seconds of time save, so I prefer to use Peach. Anyway, here we're going to do a little bit of jumping around, making sure I can then get on this clear pipe, and I'm then going to wait till that platform has... Oh my goodness, I lost my float and somehow it worked. Okay, it's fine. Yeah, going into that clear pipe, grabbing that start, and then moving on to the next bit. Here I'm going to use Gyro to grab these coins a little faster. And then here, I'm going to jump down, I'm going to kill that Piranha Creeper's movement a little bit, just to get him out of the way, make this early cycle, and we save 20 seconds for this. Now, it's possible, very, very unlikely, but possible, to make an earlier cycle. And it's normally referred to as something like Lightning Cycle. It's done in the current world record, which is something like a 120 something. It's a 1-2x of some form. There are a few runs on the leaderboard that are sub 130, and any of those runs will most likely use crouch boosting, at least a little bit, because saving that amount of time without crouch boosting is incredibly difficult. With the crouch boosting on that level, and it's probably one of the most absurd full game implemented ILs. Full game implemented levels, because it's technically not an IL. Making that earlier cycle again, or lightning cycle, would save you the extra 20 seconds. So it's definitely worth going for if you can do it. But I probably will never go for it because it's just that difficult. Anyway, here, all we need to do, just keep hitting the boss. Unfortunately, on that last one, he's going round. And then we finish him there. Yeah, from the chat, 1:26:42, we believe. Yeah, so on my first time doing the skip, I saved about 20 seconds, so that's where I'm getting my times from. But it might just be me being slow compared with me not doing it compared to being fast with me doing it. I don't know. Either way, it saves time, so do it. Next up is 6-6, and this is a very generous catsuit level. If I could just pick this level up and move it towards 7, this run will be a lot nicer. Unfortunately, we can't do that. So here we have a first catsuit, and the next one is in that hidden block there, if we wanted it. And then there's another one after the checkpoint. So there are 3 at least in this level. Of course, I don't need any right now. But later on, or after this level, we are not going to be able to grab any more. Oh, getting that landing, that's unfortunate. If we get in the box, we skip that. Yeah, we won't be getting any more catsuit levels until 7-5. So my performance from now is pretty important. Anyway, getting the spin before I get out of the mystery box there, making sure I can do that. And I just want to get as high up on this wall as possible, just to do as little climbing as possible. And then do the climbing here, grab this last star, climb up to the end, skip a bunch of the cloud platforms, and that's the level. Okay, so 6-7, very interesting level. I will not be doing the skip here. This is probably one of the only levels where, at my level, I probably should be doing the skip. I've tried to learn it a couple of days ago. It's just really difficult. And my issue with this skip is that if I'm not 100% consistent with it, then I'm running the risk of losing one or both of my catsuits in order to save, I don't know, 30 seconds, I would say. something around that. It saves a bunch of time. It might be a little bit less than that. It's between 20 and 30. But essentially what it is you're allowed to navigate through these cloud platforms even though they're not on screen. My issue with it is the platforms like this ramp. I get lost at that ramp a bunch of times. Because if you do certain movements there, it won't work normally compared to on flat ground. I will try to skip a little bit of this though. So I'm going to wait at the top until I see these shadows go in. I'm then going to keep climbing, go up to the top here, grab this star. I did it wrong. Let me out, let me out. Okay. Actually, I decided to do it slightly faster for some reason, and somehow it paid off. I'll explain that in a minute, because I need to make sure I get this right as well. But here, I'm just going to climb up, jump, go back down. That's like a mini FTM there. So this level is called Fuzzy Time Mine, and the skip is literally just dubbed FTM for the initials of the run, of the level, or Fast Fuzzies. So here, we're going to grab the star once it's spawned in. You do have to wait for it to spawn in there as well. So making specific cycles is nice. Yeah, so essentially the end part is what would have been seen in the skip. Normally I don't do that. Normally I grab the star, then climb up. I kind of forgot to do that. But yeah, either way, we've done it. It's fine. But essentially what has to happen is that once you activate that camera trigger for the camera to then pan to the next section, the left side fuzzies will start spawning in. So being on the left side, that is a kill plane, so you don't want to be on the left side if you're doing the actual skip. But when you're doing it, people often go back, like I did there, to grab that star. Luckily, we were okay doing that, but yeah, I normally wouldn't do that. So anyway, we're ready for the most broken level in the entire game. We're going to be using gyro controls. First off, instead of throwing the ball, we're going to be grabbing the star. And then instead of throwing the ball, we're going to be grabbing the star. And then here, we need to throw the ball. You can do that with gyro, but it's a little bit more difficult. It's not really worth it. Here, we're just going to grab the star by pressing the power block directly, and then we're just going to tap the switches, and that's it. Very silly level. And it is possible there to actually not take any IGT. The Mystery House levels aren't really ILs themselves, but technically you could time them based on the number of seconds have ticked away on each one and adding them up, which is what I like to do on my notes, just to give myself a comparison against runners that are comparable in my times. So here, this is another fairly important level. This one's going to have a lot of Fire Bros and Hammer Bros, which I need to watch out for. I really do not want to take damage here, because as I mentioned, if I do, I am going to be having to do World 7, at least the beginning of it, the first 3 levels, with a reduced number of catsuits, which I do not want. So I need to be careful here. All of the enemies do spawn in at the same sort of points, based on when you get there and how far the camera is panned, but it doesn't make it any harder. Any easier. But here, I'm just going to grab this star. I'm going to wait a little bit, even though you can see the shadow of the star, because basically if you go too high or too far above the camera, it just says no, and it throws you in a direction that you are not holding. So for example, if I did it here, I would probably go to the right. Here I'm just going to hit the question mark block to kill that Fire Bro, and I'm just going to avoid this Bob-omb, that's fine. So yeah, we don't really want to go too high above the camera where we can help it, but we do want to somewhere, in some places, just to make sure that we are doing the camera skips that we want to. Here, avoiding that gap and just getting over here, skipping a bunch of the camera, and I'm also going to use, didn't actually manage to do it there, but that's okay. What we can do is abuse the area of effect of the catsuit in this game, killing that last Fire Bro, and grab this star. So by using the area of effect from the catsuit when you land after doing a cat pounce, it makes it a lot easier to kill things like the Fire Bros and the Hammer Bros, at least in my opinion, especially where you can't actually save any time. You might as well do stuff that you're comfortable with. So another thing, if I did die in that gap that I just jumped, trying to skip that camera, then I would have to do the entire rest of the level again because there are no checkpoints in the train levels. I mean, that makes sense, but it doesn't make him any nicer. I've lost a few runs to these levels before, and losing a run to an auto-scroller in World 6 is not nice. So, again, finishing off the level as normal, and then we will be entering the gauntlet, which will be World 7. And finishing that off, but again, similar to World 3, we will have 6-B, which is another mini-boss. It's going to be Motley instead of Histocrat this time. And Motley's a little bit more difficult, but when you learn how to manipulate where he will land, it makes him a lot nicer. Not really nice, but as nice as Motley will ever be. Yeah, so I do have splits open right now. I just keep them hidden. That is the thing. If you do want to keep up with the pace of the run, I know me and a lot of other runners are now starting to use the run.gg. Really nice site, actually. Just so many features on there that make it really, really nice to use now. But anyway, coming on to Motley here, we will be running around the edge. Not even running, I'm just walking around the edge. Seeing Toad walking is a little bit strange, but it works. All we need to do is make sure that Motley is not landing on our face, and then we'll be fine. Here I do grab cherries just as a little bit of safety, because I don't really like doing this with one character. I like doing this with clones. But as long as we have other clones, if one of them gets hit, we will not take damage. It's only if they all get hit that we will take damage. So getting in the pipe there. It will cost me a few seconds for using the clones, but there was one time where I decided, no, you know what? I'm not going to use the clones. And I took damage. So I thought, no, you know what? I'm going to use the clones for the foreseeable future. I think it makes sense for now, for me at least. So now we are coming on to some pretty difficult levels, not made any easier by the fact that I have incorporated some pretty difficult strats. Not just strats, but just movement in general. Big example is 7-4. As long as I get there with a catsuit, we're going to see me using Luigi. I might change to Peach if I don't have a catsuit, just because I haven't played it with itemless Luigi in a while. But a lot of people like to use characters like Peach, even though they're slower, because there's a bunch of lava and rising platforms where if you fall in, you will die. And that's not good. We don't want to die. So I'm going to try my best to keep my catsuits through these levels. We're then going to get into this clear pipe, stun that hammer, that firebro rather. I can, yeah, that's that firebro. Yeah, anyway, we're going to be able to go through there, kill both of those, and then spawn in the surprise box. Or the warp box. I keep calling them surprise boxes because that's what I thought their name was, but warp box makes more sense. Anyway, here we're able to skip green star 2 because it's a green ball star. There are a couple of those we've skipped in the run. Earlier on in 5-6, there was a ball star. Essentially what it is, you are navigating a green ball, which has the green star, down from the top of the screen in a 2D plane, basically, using flip panels. And if you're able to do it correctly, you will, 5-6. I keep getting the names wrong, the numbers wrong. 5-6, that's the first ball star, I'm fairly sure. If you're able to do that, you will get the star, but it's a massive slow star, so we won't be doing it. Next up is 7-3. I'm going to be using Peach here. There are a lot of boost pads, which makes everyone the same speed, including Toad. So it's actually not really that beneficial to use Toad on the boost pads. But here, we're able to use the boost pads with Peach, and it allows us to use our float. Now, this level is notorious for dropping inputs. Yesterday, I dropped 3 inputs on this level. So hopefully that doesn't happen here. I did stun that spiked bar a little bit at the wrong time, so just thought I'd play a bit safer. Here, the only real optimization, apart from not getting a missed input, is collecting these. Wow, that was a dropped input, a bad time. I was on the left side there, off screen. That's okay. Collecting those green coins a little bit faster. Why are you not stunning? Thank you. Get this green star. That was a bit close. And jump across rather than using the clear pipes onto the flag for a decent clear. So now I have 2 catsuits left for 7-4. Pretty important that I don't mess this up. I've practiced this so much. I can only hope it goes well. But having 2, we'll see. I won't say anything until after. Anyway, I'm going to focus quite a lot and then I'll explain what I'm doing after. But a lot of it's vectoring. So here, collecting the green coins. And then getting on here. Getting the stamp, not too bad. It's still nicer to be able to do that. And also, if you get onto the edge of that platform, you will skip the stamp. But it's a lot nicer than waiting for the platforms to actually spawn. So I'm happy enough with that. Here, I want to keep as much speed going as possible. Jump up here, because we're using Luigi, we can do that. Get onto this platform with the star, wait for the spiked ball, the spiked bar, get in the pipe. And then here, we want to get to the end without killing these bullies and spawning in the platform. Yes, really nice level. Really, really nice. I am really happy with that. That's actually the best I've done that as well. So, fantastic level. I could not have asked for that to go better. Unfortunately, we're getting a stamp. So technically, it's not the fastest because that's going to carry over to the next level's time. Now, this level's also kind of important because there is a little bit of RNG involved. It wouldn't be a run that I play without RNG, would it? Looking at you, Clubhouse Games. So we're going to use Toad here. What we're going to try to do is keep all 3 Brawlers stunned. So that we can use them all later on. We need 3 hits on this boss. So hopefully we can do this. I also need to make sure I don't take damage, because if I do, that will also ruin this. And there's the other one gone. Unfortunately, we've lost it to RNG. Now, yesterday I lost it to taking damage. Now, that is worse. I would much rather lose it to RNG than taking damage, because if you take damage, you let go of the enemy you're holding, so you don't really want to be doing that. But at the same time, I don't want to keep 2 on the ground, because then that's giving 2 chances for the boss to hit that enemy. So that's okay. We lose several seconds for that, but that's really minimal in terms of the wider run. Coming on to 7-5, and as I mentioned, this is the only level in World 7 with a catsuit. So we won't be grabbing it here because I've already got 2. This is a very rare instance in a run. I do not often get here with 2 catsuits, or often I get here with none at all. And if I get here with none, you have to go round to where that thwomp is. So we don't want to be doing that. Now here, I can just grab the wall and then climb up. Grab this star and miss the stamp. Here we're going to kill these Magikoopas. And then I'm going to grab this star and then instantly rolling long jump, whatever the cat equivalent is, with this here. Get the landing, unfortunately. And then because I've done that all fairly quickly, I am then on a specific cycle to kill these. That's fine, I'll wait a little bit. I would much rather do that than take damage. So I'm just going to kill all of these rather than have to deal with them later. I will grab that key on the way down. So we can't actually grab the keys with gyro. Apparently I didn't kill that one, that's fine. We're probably going to get here at a point where it doesn't matter. Cool. Still have 1 remaining as far as I'm aware. No, there are none remaining. So yeah, if I miss the key there, that specific one, till last, that will pan the camera slightly faster rather than getting the one at the top last. You're intended to get the top one last and then you start the escape. But I like to grab one of the other ones last. It doesn't really matter which one, just enough so that I can then start doing the escape straight away rather than having to wait for the camera to pan again. Okay, next up is a Captain Toad level. This one's quite important to focus on my gyro controls, because we're going to be dealing with a lot of standing on thwomps and going under thwomps. And I used to be really bad at the gyro here, but the more you get better, the more you practice, the more time you can save on a pretty simple level once you've got used to exactly how to do it. So first off, we're going to grab this star at the beginning. I'm going to keep scrolling the camera, essentially not stopping. I'm going to wait a little while just so I don't take damage, because I almost died yesterday. I don't really want to be dying. That'll be bad. Grab this star. I'm going to stun that thwomp just to make sure I can get on there. I'll stun the other one because it's already at the top. And the way this works, the thwomp has to either be at the bottom or at the top in order for you to get on and take the ride of wherever the thwomp is going to. So even if they've moved up a tiny bit, you cannot get on the thwomp. So just making sure that I am looking ahead to where the next one is and stunning it at the right time. 7-7, another fairly important level, and we know what happens with the levels with the interesting movement. We use Peach, and that is no exception here. So we're going to get in the pipe. We're going to do 7-7. And this one, I'm going to try my best to make the first cycle ignore the grey platforms and then jump on here. I'm going to grab this star, make sure I float before that star, otherwise I'm risking getting my input dropped. That's bad. And then grab these green coins for a pretty fast first section. I'm then going to do that movement, get straight in the clear pipe. And then this one, I'm going to try and get a little bit of increased speed going to try and do this quickly. Grab this star on the way past. And I'm then going to get in this clear pipe. It's possible to go past the clear pipe, but you'll be contending with that enemy. And those enemies, which are from Super Mario Galaxy, they are an instant kill if you get hit. So we will not be contending with those at all. Now, it's possible if you are really fast to take a really wide angle, which means you have to be in the air above the lava for a really long time. And before that clear pipe, completely miss the trigger for that enemy to appear. If you go anywhere near where that clear pipe is, sort of parallel to where the clear pipe is heading to, you will probably activate the enemy, and if you're not fast enough, you'll die. And because I'm using Peach, I probably will die. So choosing to not do that, I think, is wise. Yeah, so that level can be very scary if you're not familiar with it. I've played that on this so many times now that it becomes a lot less scary. Playing all these levels that you would expect. You would expect these to all be really scary. I've now moved them down in my practice ratings. I used to have all of the World 7 levels essentially at like 5 out of 5 rating. And since playing them so many times, I've just got a lot more familiar with them. And now actually my early game isn't really the best. It really just depends on the strats I'm learning and things like that. Anyway, here I am going to try my best to skip this. Very nice. I actually forgot to do that in practice yesterday. That saves like 2 seconds IGT. So yeah, quite nice I managed to do that first time in an RTA run, because I've been practicing that. But essentially, I spawned in the cage boxes yesterday too early, and it makes it a lot harder to not take damage there. Here though, I'm going to be using Gyro for this boss that appeared in World 1, but we did skip. What I'm trying to do is hit Bowser in the face with the footballs. If we do that, points will appear, and that means we've skipped hitting the car 3 times with each one. So each one, essentially, you're supposed to hit the car 3 times, so you need 9 car hits, or even more hits if you're using a power-up like a boomerang or a fire flower. However, if you hit him in the face, you get 3 hits. However, that one is a lot less generous with the amount of footballs there are. On World 1, he basically fires footballs on all of them and then only fires a few fireballs. There, he will fire a bunch of fireballs, and also, you might have noticed really far ahead there, there is a gap in the road, so Bowser's car will have to jump over. He will then have to activate the lava geysers, which will then have to wait for them to go in the ground again. And then after a little while, there will then be a warp box to get to the next island with the next road of track on. So how I like to do that level is stay crouched so that you're still moving ahead, because you need to be moving ahead for Bowser to fire any footballs at you, or any fireballs, or whatever his attack is. So moving ahead about as slow as I possibly can, making sure that I'm still allowing him to fire them at me, gives me a little bit more leeway. A lot of people decide, especially casually, to try and run straight at him, but it makes the boss harder. If you're running at him, he's going to be scrolling the level a lot faster, and it's just not really worth doing, to be honest. But that's only really when you know that's the right way to do it. Anyway, this is the funny jamming music. This is pretty good. Pretty good World 8 World Map music. Coming on to 8-1. This is another catsuit level, if we needed more at this point. Somehow I'm still on 2, so we're keeping it going. Actually, no, I'm on 1 because I had to get a boomerang, so I will grab this one here. Glad I remembered. Anyway, here, going to skip this warp box. We're going to be skipping a few of them on this level because they are possible to skip. A lot of them are. Get on this platform. Oh, don't fall off. No, don't do that. And then just jump across here. Get in this warp box. Skip the star because it's another ball star. Actually, no, it's not a ball star. It's a mystery box, but it's a bit of a longer one. So we don't do it. I'm going to get on here, and then I'm going to try my best to keep my catsuit. Thank you very much. Nice. Not really paying attention to fireworks there. Luckily, we didn't get them. And that's the level. Yeah, that mystery box one is quite a nice backup. Especially seeing as I'm now doing 8-3. I mean, the backup in 8-3 is alright as well. But yeah, it is quite nice to be able to do that mystery box one. But you also have to climb up to the platform. It's not a really slow detour, so it's quite a nice one. Anyway, coming up to Cookie Cogworks, this is where I mentioned that I would have already, ordinarily, get my words right, done the Plessy level on the left-hand side. Now, the Plessy level is a very fixed speed, and also the Plessy level does make it possible to get a third green star without having to detour much because you're already on the path anyway. Basically, all it requires you to do is break a Bowser statue on your way past, which you can do with gyro anyway to not slow you down. And then you can just grab the green star on your way past. But it's not worth playing compared to Cookie Cogworks once you're familiar with this level. So here, I need to wait for the green star to be on, and I can freeze the platform as well using Gyro. Gyro's very broken. Gyro's the best character in this game. Shoutouts to Gyro. And here, I'm going to be climbing on the clear pipe. Make sure I don't fall, because the difference between that launcher and the actual clear pipe is a tiny, tiny height difference. I'm going to get gold flag there, because I'm already quite high on the flagpole. Yeah, there's a tiny height difference between where the launcher is and the actual clear pipe, so you fall very slightly. So if you're trying to charge up your sprint speed, which charges up quicker in this game compared to Wii U version, you can get thrown off a little bit. So you just want to go in a straight line until that happens, unless you're good at your vectoring on clear pipes, which I am very much not going to be risking that here because it's difficult. In fact, it might even just be faster with Toad to just run on that one, because it's hard to vector on a single straight line platform. So here's another train. There is, however, only one train here, so a lot less risky stuff to worry about. There is this scary spiked bar, though, which can be very difficult sometimes. But here, all I need to do is run around on this platform. Not too much to worry about there. And then here, I can actually grab a hidden question mark block as a temporary power-up, just to give myself a little bit of a easier time when I get to here. Wow, that's actually a new way of doing that. I did not know that's a way of doing that. That's basically not applicable to the speedrun. But what I just did there, I think, was I landed with the cat pounce, got the area of effect thing, and then I pressed X again without pressing a trigger to then move forward. I've never learned about that. I'm discovering new things during the speedrun. Amazing. Anyway, here we're going to skip the camera a bunch, get on that platform down there, get straight in the pipe, as long as I'm holding ZL when I do that, which I'm already doing to do that movement. We can just get straight in. Next up's Pom Pom. Again, I can try and get an early hit, as long as I'm early enough. There we go. And then loads of clones to deal with. And again, I'm trying to look for this different coloured particle. There we go. We got one of them.
I feel like I subconsciously do get it more often, because
getting that last one by RNG would be a 1 in 9 chance. And I do get that more than 1 in 9. So, I don't know, maybe I do subconsciously know how to do it. I'm just going to go with that. I'm very good at telling which one's the real pom-pom. Ignore the fact I missed one. So now, another very important level. It's 8-4. And the main reason this is important because 8-4... yeah, I know the sort of pace I'm on. I know what I can achieve with this run. So I'm being very cautious of that, but also I need to do well on this level to make sure I keep my cat suits for the next skip. So this is 8-4. I'm going to do a lot of running. There are hidden platforms here, which I will use gyro to uncover, but I know where they are. There's one. And then these spiked sections are really annoying. So I'm going to try my best to not take damage here. Okay, not over yet. This whole level's difficult. Okay. Getting onto the wall here because I still have cat. Grabbing this green star. And then again, because I have cat, I can just jump straight to the end without going on the really difficultly angled platforms. Very nice level. It went very well. Okay, so what we do need to focus on now is a skip that I learned 1 week ago. This is candle strats, and I've learnt this because I thought, you know what? It's been so long without me learning this skip. This has existed since Wii U. I never learnt it there because I always vowed this is too difficult for me. I don't mind it as much in this version, but I've never hit it perfectly and finished the level perfectly in an RTA run yet. But I'm going to try my best here. We're going to skip straight to this platform, skipping that other one. And here, if we were doing 380 star, as if this skip wasn't hard enough, we'd have to use Luigi. So we can actually grab the stamp with the Luigi switch. Luckily, we're doing any percent, so we don't need that. So I'm going to grab this. I'm then also going to grab a star here. I'm going to get as far right and up as possible on this platform so I can do a really early rolling long jump into the box. Missing it, that's fine. It's still faster than what I used to do. I don't know how I've never thought about that. That's just intuitive movement options. Anyway, here I need to make sure I have the light box, otherwise I will not be able to grab this star. That's why I took that a little bit slower. Here, as long as you jump straight away, you can get a jump in midair. And then here, I'm going to try to get on the candles and skip this platform. No, I'm not doing that. Thank you for registering a jump. And that's the skip. That saves a lot of time. That saves a lot of time. And we'll just get gold flag because I failed it a little bit. Basically, if you're too close to the flagpole, you will just gravitate to the flagpole. Okay. There is something that I should mention with the run now, as we come on to the final Mystery House level and one regular level. I am on sub 140 pace. I've never had a sub 140. I've tried so hard to get sub 140 in prep for this marathon. I just would not believe it if I somehow didn't get it in practice and yet somehow managed to do it today. But we're going to keep this together. We're going to try our best to get this sub 140 today. Now, yeah, I don't have much time other than that to save because I'm doing all these big skips that save time. And it's not over yet. There is another big skip I can do in 8-7 with a Tanuki suit. It's the only Tanuki suit skip that I do in the run that I actually have to have Tanuki for. But it does mean I have to use Toad on a level that I'm not comfortable with using Toad on. Or not fully comfortable anyway, not compared to using Peach. And it is Grumblump. It's the Grumblump level. Oh, I hit all the bricks. Let's go. So it's a bit of a meme. You just try and hit all the bricks there just for fun. I don't think I've actually hit them all very often when I've actually done the level properly. This truly is blessed now. Surely this can't go wrong. So here we're just going to hit the power blocks, hit those 2 bricks on the way past. And we have 1 star remaining. Which, actually, this star, if we meet the World Crown itemless asterisk incentive, we will have to do this star itemless. Which is actually made a little bit harder in the incentive. So, get your donations in for that incentive. Okay. Right, this is pretty important. I need to grab Tanuki. I need to skip the entirety of Grumblump number 2, the middle one. There is a checkpoint just before, so in terms of marathon safety, it's not too bad if we miss it. But I would prefer not to. Let's give this a shot. So here, ground pound, speeds them up. And then here, because I'm not using Peach, I will have to do this normally. Then I'm going to skip onto here, which I normally would have done from the higher platform. I'm then going to grab Tanuki suit. And I'm going to try my best to sprint on this Grumblump, which are not easy to sprint on. And jump. And then I'm gonna, when we get to the track, hold right to not lose my speed, and then we do it. And then we're done. But we're not done yet, because I have failed it before, where I have made the skip, and then because I'm still using Toad on a difficult level, I fell off of this platform before, because they're really hard to stay on, especially with Toad, a character that does not have the float. If you're doing this in multiplayer especially, this level is a mess. Because you've got 4 people on this platform, which does not have room for 4 people. Honestly, this is one of those levels where you just get the best player to bubble, you get the worst players to bubble, and the best one to just do the level themselves. And then when they fail it, everyone has a go at them. Makes it funnier. Anyway. Finish off the level here with a 272. And because I've got Tanuki, we don't get the stamina lost. We have 2 mini-bosses left, and then we have Meowser. And what that means is we will be able to... we will be able to have a little bit of time remaining for this incentive. The incentive only ends once Meowser finishes. So we have 2 rematch boss fights. We have Motley, yes, Motley first, then Histocrat. So we use Toad first again, and then we're going to have Histocrat. Then we have Meowser, which would be another very interesting skip which I will not be doing, unfortunately. It's very difficult and does not save that much time because we can skip cutscenes in this version. So it's just not really worth me going for it. So here we're just going to get that swipe. And this boss is actually kind of hard because we have these gold rings to deal with. They're really slow. However, in the Boss Blitz version, which is the final level of World Flower, the world before World Crown, essentially just 6 bosses all back to back. What we would have to contend with is Cherry Motley, which is the exact same boss, but with really fast red rings. Now, that makes it easier by doing this strat, because all of the rings disperse wherever you're going to be standing every single time. So you don't have to worry about them at all. Makes the level lots easier. And they're actually not grabbing the clones for once. I know I said earlier I would always do that, but deciding to do it anyway. I'm going to wait for fireworks, then grab the flagpole. So if these 2 levels go perfectly, we can sub 140. Next up, again, Histocrat. It's the exact same, just with a reskin of the boss. Grab a cat. And then get off the platform here. Do the jumps as we saw in World 3. Doing a ground pound or a spin jump, whatever you prefer. And then doing the dive into the boss. Nice. Very good. Just grab some coins because why not? And then we move on to Meowser, final boss fight. So this would be pretty interesting. You might be familiar with Meowser Skip. So Meowser Skip, you can do it a couple of different ways. It used to be with Tanuki. It's now sort of a mix of, like, I think crouch boosting is in there or whatever you prefer to do. However you build up your speed to get all the way from the lift, which is normally used to transport you over to the Meowser platforms. Instead of using that, you will then jump a massive gap all the way over to the cloud platforms. And if you do that, you will then skip some of the boss fight. You will also turn off the music because the music trigger didn't start. And you'll skip the cutscene. However, in this version, we can skip the cutscene using Plus. So we don't save nearly as much time here as it used to be on Wii U. Wii U would save all of that cutscene time, which makes it about a minute faster. It was a really, really good skip if you could do it. And we're going to get on the platform. So here, around where Captain Toad is, using that slope, we would then jump all the way over to here, where we're going to see where the cloud platforms are. They've not spawned in yet, but yeah, they're essentially in the middle of this tower. Yeah, there they are. We'll skip this cutscene, and then this is essentially an auto-scroller. So we just have to wait here. There is a little way of skipping some of the level in a little while. I will grab another cat suit because why not? But here we have to wait until Bowser continues doing his silly cat movements.
And the reason we have to wait is because we actually
Can't progress past a certain point until the camera has panned that far. Once the camera reaches that point, we can then start moving towards the power block, which will then kill Meowser. But of course, spoiler alert, as I've already spoiled, there is not just one phase to this, there are 2. And I should mention the time for this run will end on the points appearing on the flagpole. So even after the big power block in a minute, the run will not end. There is about another minute left. So they're hitting that power block, getting an early music finish. And then here we're going to see that there's not just one Meowser, there's lots of them. He's using these double cherries to try and overwhelm us. So here I'm going to be very quiet. I'm going to pay attention to sound cues, and I'm going to climb up the left side, hopefully where the clouds are. Where are you? Okay, you're down there. Okay, it's not perfect, but we did it. You saw Luigi for a little bit there, and that's because I didn't get on the platform. Basically, one of the clouds is actually a moving cloud. So if you don't get on the cloud perfectly, you're going to have to wait a little while. So, yeah. Wasn't perfect, but definitely enough for us to... As long as I don't die here, like 2 runs ago, this slope... Who put this slope here? Who put that gap in the wall there? This will 140, sub 140. Time does not end here. Time will end once points appear on the flagpole. And all we can do now is hope that this will sub 140. Remember, we're still £25 away from that World Crown itemless asterisk incentive. If you want to see it, get your donations in. So the Sprixies have been freed, and we're going to have to get in the clear pipe here, get to the top, and there's going to be a little cutscene before we can grab the flagpole. And I'm going to get on the top of the flagpole, and time. GG. Wow. Okay.
Do you want to know the time?
I do, yes.
1 39 36.
Fantastic. Yes. That's what I got as well. So I'm really glad. Wow, that's my first sub 140. I've gone for that for so long. To get that for the marathon, I'm really happy. And especially because this run, as I mentioned at the start, it replaced the run that's about, I'm fairly sure, 50-minute estimate or somewhere around that. So that's Neo Mario Galaxy. I'm fairly sure that's appearing later on in the marathon. But yeah, glad to finish that there, get the sub 140. Thanks everyone for watching that. Yeah, I guess I'll just give quick shout-outs. Or is there anything else you want to do before I do that?
So there is a Neo Mario Galaxy any percent run happening tomorrow, so be sure to tune in for that. That'll be about 2:15 tomorrow. Don't forget, of course, we are doing this also as a charity event. There is still a little bit of time left, so if anybody does want to donate that last £25 that we need to see the, what was it called again? Itemless something.
World Crown itemless asterisk.
World Crown itemless asterisk showcase thingy-majiggy. So that is still available. You can still donate to it until we actually close off SMMidi's run. So please get those donations in, because it all goes to fantastic cause. If you guys want to see it, donate now, because there's not that long left before we close off the stream for SMMidi and then get the next runner ready to start. So don't forget, of course, you can donate via Tiltify. Donations through Tiltify go directly to EveryoneCan. There are also other ways to donate as well, so you can subscribe on Twitch, donate Twitch bits if you want to as well, and also watch adverts. Anything that counts as Twitch revenue will be split 50-50 to EveryoneCan as well at the end of the event. And also you can buy some InstaSim merch. If you type exclamation mark merch in the chat, that will bring up the link to the InstaSim store where you can buy things like mugs, coasters, greeting cards and all that stuff as well. available on the InstaSim store. So be sure to get that final £25 in if you really want to see the Itemless World Showcase. Itemless World Crown Showcase, that's the one. Get that donation in. Smitty, do you have any final words you'd like to say? Because once you stop talking, that's going to be the end of the stream. So get that final £25 in before Smitty finishes talking.
All right, I'll try and do my... I'll try and do my best chatting session ever. So I want to give a shout out to the 3D World Discord. You can find lots of helpful resources there, things like that. So go and check that out. That's for Bowser's Fury as well as 3D World. Bowser's Fury is a very different game, lots of cycle-based stuff going on. So it's not personally my thing, 100% compared to this game. But it is quite nice, and it's a shorter run as well. Even 100% is quite a short run. So if you do fancy giving that a go, you actually use Mario in that run. Mario is the only character in that run, so you do actually have to use him. And also Bowser Jr. is there, helping you for some reason. So there's that. I want to give a shout out to my community on Twitch. We do runs like this, not often sub 140, but runs like this quite a lot. I've mainly been doing a lot of 3D World any percent, and also other categories like 380 star and Itemless 242 stars, as I mentioned. I'm possibly going to moving on to actual Itemless at some point, which is any percent Itemless. A little bit, similar to any percent, but also similar to Itemless 242, but also a bit faster than that. Other than that, I think that's about it from me. So, yeah, thanks everyone for watching the run. Enjoy the rest of the marathon.
So before we go on, we did get a £10 donation in from Brass Beat. So thank you Brass Beat for that donation. That also goes towards the Itemless World Crown Showcase. So only £15. That's 1-5. So if anyone wants to come in right now, you have 30 seconds to put forward a £15 donation to that incentive. 30 seconds. Go. Someone has to bring in that £15 before we close off Smitty's stream. So come on now. We don't have very long left.
Just in case, I'll start getting the file ready rather than sitting on the score screen. That would probably be a good idea.
Who's going to come in with the final £15? That's 1-5 towards the Itemless World Crown Showcase incentive. Have we got any takers? You don't have long left. Shall we put some countdown music on?
That would be 30 seconds, to be fair.
Yeah, let's put countdown timer on there, shall we? Hang on, let's do that. Hang on, I've got an ad.
Oh, of course. Yes, extend it. Come on, half an hour non-skippable ad. Thank you, YouTube. This is the only time that that is useful.
Come on, is anyone coming in with the final £15? Oh! We haven't got an extra £15, so unfortunately, everybody, we're not going to be seeing the Itemless World Crown Showcase today at InstaSpeedathon, unfortunately. So, hold your heads in shame. I'm joking, obviously. But anyway, don't forget, of course, we are doing this as a charity event for EveryoneCan. If you would like to donate, then please do so by going to the Tiltify link, which is being linked in the chat every now and again. Damien will do his Linus Tech Tips style segues to that every now and again as well. !donate will also bring up the link, and there's also a link down in the panel below. So thank you very much, Smitty, for that run. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you all enjoyed that Super Mario 3D World any percent run. We're now going to go over to our next run, which is Casper's Scare School any percent, and that's going to be by Viper. So he's going to be doing our next run for us today. and we're going to go to that in about 10 minutes time as well. So kick back, relax, get yourselves a nice warm cup of Yorkshire tea. This stream is not sponsored, by the way. I wish it was, but we're not. But yeah, so get yourselves a nice warm cup of tea, and we'll go over now to the next one. So thank you, Smitty, for the run.